So thank you guys all for being here. I know that it's beautiful outside, and I always notice that it seems like the cold weather, we still get the same amount. It just moves further into the year. When I was a kid, I don't remember Marches being this cold, but it's turned off beautiful today, and uh, I hate looking out a window because I think I'd rather be outside chunking a wedge somewhere. So anyway, thank you guys all for being here, and sure appreciate you showing up. Let's see if I can get the screen shared. Miss Young, you see the screen, the slides on the screen there? Very
I
good.
do.
Well, thank you guys all for being here, and it's April 4th, 2024, and again, this is one of my favorite times of the month because I enjoy seeing everyone and I enjoy hearing what y'all have to say. And also, I enjoy learning. I pick up a tidbit on every one of these, and I appreciate you guys not only teaching each other, but teaching me. And this is just a fantastic experience, and I enjoy being a part of it. Remember, these are sessions of the roundtables are being recorded and they're posted on YouTube. So if you do not wish to have your picture displayed, make sure you participate with your video off. Otherwise, your participation serves as consent to being posted on the YouTube. Again, like we were saying just a minute ago, these are really all about working together, and no other group in the state does that better than CTE and CTAT. And it's really I know some of you that's been in it a while, I think will agree with me. Never before we had a bigger group of more competent people that are really in it for the right reason to do the right things by the programs and the students. And just know that CTAT appreciates you and thank you for all that you do. Again, this is season 4 of our roundtable. And as I was researching this roundtable, I ran across this slide and it really made me do some thinking. April Fool's Day is really April 2nd. Have they been fooling us into thinking it's April 1st all along? And uh, kind of remember that and make a note because when the roundtable's over, about 30 minutes later, you're going to go to thinking about that, and you might not get some sleep tonight. So anyway, we might all be getting fooled. This is April 4th, and really a lot happened on April 4th. I never realized that the Beatles had 5 songs on the top 100, the first 5 spots, one, two, three, four, and five, all in 1964. That never been done before, never after. Also, on this day in 1975, Microsoft was founded. Paul Allen and Bill Gates, and it's hard to believe that there was never a Microsoft prior to 1975. I guess we all managed without it. In 1841, William Henry Harrison died of pneumonia. That's pneumonia there, Rick, not pneumonia. And he became the first president to die in office of natural causes, and he still holds the records for the briefest administration. So rest in peace, President Harrison. Also, on this date in 1968, we lost Martin Luther King Jr. to an assassin's bullet in Memphis. And if you remember, 1968 always goes down as a horrific year because Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated in April. And then later on that summer, Bobby Kennedy was killed in Los Angeles by another assassin. And kind of the bright light that come out of it in December around Christmas in 1968, Apollo 8 went around the moon. And so that was, they always talk about Apollo 8, the first trip to the moon being the event that saved 1968. uh, on this day in 1974, uh, Hammer and Hank Aaron hit the first pitch of opening day out of the ballpark to tie Babe Ruth's home run record, a record that no one thought would be tied, for sure not broken. Then 4 days later, he broke it. And I remember as a kid back in 1974, I know most of you don't think I'm that old, but I was a little kid. I remember because they broke in on TV to show that every at bat, just like they used to do with Nolan Ryan's no hitters. But they broke in, they showed Hank Aaron setting the record. So most of the people that were watching TV in the country at that time actually saw Hank Aaron do that on TV. I would like to reach out and thank all of you guys that have attended the training for counselors. Um, Monica Paul and Jason Cooper did that one, and it was just incredible. Also, for those of you that were a part of the special ed and CTE Joint Academy, we had over 120 for training for the counselors and right about 88 for the SPED plus CTE. And that was such a great experience. And I think that SPED plus CTE will continue to do. And um, also talked to many of you last week at the CTAT and TASBO Finance CTE Joint Academy. This was a record for the training. We had 144 at that, and it just continues to grow every time we have it. And I do want to take this opportunity to, all of these trainings, all three of them, of course, all of the outreach trainings that we do, they come about in the area presidents meeting. And when we meet with the area presidents during winter and summer conference, they come up with idea. And then we have a board meeting on that Monday of all the conferences. And the ideas that the board and the area presidents come up with, we do our best to make those happen. And every one of those have been successful, and they all come from your board and your area president. So when you see them, tell them to keep coming up with great ideas. And if you have a great idea, that's a good avenue. Reach out to your area president or your board member, because it really does make a difference. And again, just as part of thanking you for doing this, I think one of the important things is not only are we building good relationships around the state with other associations such as TASBO and TKs, and we're bridging the gap between financial officers and PEAMS coordinators and SPED directors, but also we are generating awareness in the state for CTE. And we want to see CTE as one of the essentials in the whole secondary educational process. And I think that these outreach trainings do that. Probably that's equally as important as providing the training opportunity. So thanks to all of you for being a part of this, whether you're an attendee or a presenter. Your contributions are meaningful. So sincerely, thank you very much. Again, thank you to our roundtable sponsor, ICEB. Or if any of you guys are in here, speak up and we'll give you a minute or 12. But ICEB does so much for us, and of course they're one of our roundtable sponsors. And it's hard to imagine having our CTE programs now without ICEB. What a great partner! These roundtables are all about working together, and like Neil deGrasse Tyson says, knowledge is on the way. And if you're new to this, well, our programming through CTAT includes our Next Gen Administrators group that will start again in September of 2024 with the new cohort. Our monthly roundtables like this, the professional conferences that we offer in the fall and in the winter and the summer. And then our regional outreach trainings that we just discussed have been a huge success. And that's all a part of the board, the members, and the area presidents. Thank you so much. And also the district program evaluations. If you want a program evaluation, we probably have one slot left for this year. But if you're interested in getting one of those done, certainly email me at mark@ctat.org, and we'll get you on the calendar for early in the fall next year, or maybe late in the summer, depending on what your district allows. Again, thank you to the area presidents for all that you do. Don't forget that the CTAT Summer Conference is coming up July 15th through the 18th. It will be at the Tarrant County Convention Center there in downtown Fort Worth. And I'm still using the old deal because I had a hard time snipping and pasting it. But that is, Angie has redone the whole conference branding. Angie and Lindsay and Monique all working on that, and it is just beautiful. And I know that Lindsay is rebranding the website with the summer conference, and also she is working on the group that provides all of the environmental. Lindsay, if you're in here, you could use the language a lot better than I can, but all of the goodies that hang around the conference, the convention center and the hotel, that really makes it feel warm and inviting. And thanks to Lindsay and all the guys for doing that. And I think the new summer conference colors and everything really look terrific. Now, don't forget, this is where you need to stop and take a pencil and write this on a sticky note and stick it on your computer window. Submit your presentations. The deadline for submitting presentations is April 29th. Above anything else, the presentations that you guys provide, that's what makes the conference go. And that's what makes a great conference or a conference that's not so great is the quality of the presentations. And that all comes from you guys being willing to share. Tell us what great things are going on in your district. Share those with other professionals and give them an opportunity to take those ideas back and use them in your district. It's the way that we all grow and it's the way that we benefit the most students. Thank you for submitting the presentations and try not to forget, make a note on your computer and fill that out in the morning if you can't get to it this afternoon. Also, don't forget that San Antonio is hosting December 4th through the 7th ACT's National Conference Vision 2024. And go ahead and make a date. It's going to be at the Grand Hyatt. It's going to be the hotel and where the conference is at. And I think since I've been working for CTAT, this is the first national conference that they've held in Texas. I'm really looking forward to it. Already got a room down there and made my reservations on the river walks and at the Mad Dog place, Toby, and ready to go. Don't forget you can register for any CTAT event by just going to the professional learning page, ctat.org, and clicking on events and scrolling down there. You can learn more and register for everything. Also, remind your teachers that we have the library resource. They can go on there and upload lessons and they can download lessons. They can download resources. They can upload resources. Have your teachers go on there and put the best lesson, share it with other teachers in the state. And we build these up and they'll be here forever. So we appreciate having this. Again, another great idea from the area presidents. We were losing some of our teachers were retiring and losing some of their websites because there wasn't a place to store it. And CTAT was more than happy to offer that storage space. As far as some breaking news, don't forget if you notice, well, then the Connect CTAT has a new face on it. Lindsay has really done a great job on rebranding that and making it look pretty and more usable, in my opinion. And that's the Connect CTAT. That is probably the most used and one of the most beneficial programs that we have. And of course, that's a members only, like my jacket. And so you have to be a member to be able to use Connect CTAT. And it is a great tool. And if you're not using it, you can go in there and subscribe and get an email. That's the way I get the notifications. I get an email every morning on what people have posted. It's a CLNA year. And don't forget that it was released in early February, taken down and put back up. And then it's due for submission sometimes around the start of May. And the guidebook is out. And I know if you're in the next gen, I think I sent this out to you, but for sure put it on your next gen private website. We've been waiting for that guidebook to come out. It's out. It's posted on the CTAT website. And there is a link to the CLNA guidebook on the CTAT chat that came out Monday or April 1st. And Lisa Harrison just put a note in the chat that said the deadline for the CLNA has been moved to July 1st. Well, that makes sense. Everyone on here, Lisa, is an overachiever, and they're going to have it done well before July 1st. I'm sure. Don't forget that the JET grant's out, and you can go for the JET grant website, the Jobs and Education for Texans, and you can download the grant application. And it's really, of all the grants that you're going to fill out over the years in CTE, the JET grant's probably one of the easier ones that you'll fill out. There are some supporting documents that you'll have to get, but it's really not that difficult. So if you're thinking the JET grant's too hard to apply for, don't think that. Give it a look because it's pretty self-explanatory and you can do it yourself. Also, don't forget that to upload, those of you that have to upload the DD Form 4 for military in the CCMR component, that's being released. And again, that all comes to accountability and will be on the accountability website. They have done a refresh on the programs of study. And as I understand it, there are still some that are under revision. They're actually cleaning those up right now. For example, um, project-based learning capstone was left off of a couple, and the intent was that they weren't going to remove any courses from a program of study. They were just going to add courses to existing programs of study and add programs of study. So I know that they're still working on those and getting them finalized, but you can see the new frameworks and programs of study. That's what's on the CTE TEA website at this time. You can still, through a link, go back and look at the old ones, but if you go there now, it's the new ones that are up. Don't forget that the accountability manual is now posted for your reading. And Janelle asked if there's any timeline on when the editable version. I haven't looked to see that it's on there, but I will as soon as we get off here. I'll look and see if it's on there. But usually, if they have the frameworks posted, then they're ready for release. I don't know if they've released them or not yet, but they're ready for release because basically all they are is a PowerPoint that they give you access to. Don't forget that the SBO course updates for 24-25, and I think I stole this off of uh, Chelsea and Lisa's website, if I remember where I snipped that from. I learned how to snip recently with the little window sign, the shift, and the S, and I've just been snipping everything I can find. Uh, but anyway, the innovative course rules updates are posted on the innovative course website, and of course, CTE has a website that links off of that identifies just the CTE courses. So they've all been updated, and nominations are open for the Student Hero Award. They will close on May 4th. And if there's any students that need to be identified as hero, I'm going to say it's a lot of your CTE students. So go online and nominate some of those kiddos as CTE heroes. And then the work group application is coming along for the engineering courses. And if you've never been a part of the CTE teacher review process, everyone needs to do it at least once. I always use the analogy you hear the old cliche about how sausage is made. You like to eat sausage in the morning, but you don't like to see it made. Well, that's not true with anything other than TEKS. It is uh, uh, strenuous process, but once they get through, I think they always end up looking pretty good. So if you've never been a part of a Teach Rewrite group, take advantage of that. And don't forget that TEA is taking photos for the CTE photo library, and you can download those. And that link is in the CTAT chat and on the TEA CTE website. Again, you've all seen this slide 100 times, but this year's 2024 graduates must have at least one advanced course, one level 2 or higher course that is aligned with the program of study from their IBC. And then, of course, next year's graduates will have to be concentrators. And I hate to keep showing that if you've seen it 5,000 times and you're tired of it, but it is really critical information as you're submitting your IBCs in your student information management systems this spring. In the news, we had Carrollton Farmer Branch really had a big layout for their CTE Awareness Month. And I always get asked, well, how do you get these? And literally, I just Google CTE in the news, Texas, and pick something that comes up pretty quick. And also, sometimes folks will send me some stuff. So don't ever hesitate if you have something going on good at your district. Send me that so we can spotlight that in the CTAT newsletter. Sure. And then also the Service Center spotlight that we had for this month was at Region 19, and that's Oscar and Angelica and Frank. They're in El Paso, and we want to highlight the Preparing the Workforce for Tomorrow symposium that they have coming in June. And they collaborate with the Texas Federal Reserve Bank and the El Paso branch Workforce Solutions. And it happens at the Starlight Event Center. And if you haven't been out there, it's right next to the airport, and it is a beautiful facility. And if I remember right, it is attached to the service center, and it's just really a one of a kind and is outstanding. And uh, we actually had a CTE plus finance training out there last year, and we hope to be able to get out there and use that facility again. It's just beautiful. And they're having guest speakers. And as always, when ESC 19 puts on something that's first rate. So, Oscar and Angelica and Frank, thank you guys so much for all you do and all that you do to benefit the El Paso area. Again, it's all about working together, and we are going to stop sharing and get back out into the gallery mode and see what everybody has on their brain today.
Mark, it's Susie. Can I say something?
Yes, ma'am, please do.
Sorry, I was talking to you earlier and then got cut off because my phone rang, but we were talking about me retiring. So I do want to announce that the board approved this week that they will be hiring Rick Boo to come back to Hayes to be our next CTE director when I retire in June. So I want to say congratulations to Rick, and I know he'll do a great job.
Has the board met him?
I think so.
I'm just
Be
teasing.
nice,
Well,
Mark.
that is fantastic news for both you and Rick. And Rick, congratulations. I know you're excited about it. You got anything you'd like to share?
I'm excited. The one thing that I've always heard, and I'm not following this advice, is you don't want to be the person that follows the legend. You want to be the person that follows the person that followed the legend. Definitely have huge shoes to fill.
Well, I have all the confidence in you, Rick. You're going to do great things in Hayes.
Rick, I was about to say that same thing. You've got a tall ladder to climb, so you better get some good rest out there on the course this week.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Susie, for mentioning that, and congratulations to Rick and Hayes ISD Troops on with excellent CTE programs, just like it's always had.
Hey, Mark, I think that's a really good bleed into Sherry.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome.
Congratulations, Rick. We're excited for you. Susie announced that yesterday at our area meeting. And I mean, I think 99% of the room clapped and applauded. So we're happy to have you back. The reason I am hopping on is that when we talk about leadership, there's leadership at all different levels. It's not just with CTE directors, but also our instructional staff. And as you know, we're really making a big push to get our business marketing and finance instructional staff involved within CTE or within CTAT. We actually have a board vacancy for that instructional. Y'all know we have 2 instructional positions on our board. We have the TNI representation, and that board member will be continuing on for to finish out another term. But we actually have a 3-year term open. So if y'all have any amazing rock star business marketing and finance teachers who are already CTAT members or maybe have been thinking about joining and they're looking for that next leadership opportunity, we will be having more information coming out about either self-nominating or you could nominate your teacher to serve that 3-year term. Ideally, it would be somebody who wants to really hone their craft as a teacher, and we wouldn't have to replace them in a year when they take your job as CTE director, but we're just looking for somebody who wants to grow to that next level, and we'll bring in that teacher perspective to our board. Because like Mark mentioned earlier, a lot of the regional trainings have come from board ideas and from CTAT president ideas. So bringing that instructional voice onto our board will just help us continue to grow. So if you've got anybody who is interested, they can reach out to myself or CTAT staff, and we can help point them in the right direction as more information comes out. But that term would ideally start this summer. So actually showing up to, or maybe not technically start, but we would want them to be there this summer. So attending the 2 conferences, both summer and winter, and then also having our other quarterly online meetings. So not a huge like in-person time commitment, but really just an opportunity for that person to get out to do some networking and bring their perspective. So if you've got somebody, tell them to start getting ready and thinking about it. And as part of the nominating committee, would love to review those applications. So again, if you got any questions, send them to the staff or myself, and we'll be happy to answer them.
And Sherry, as far as the process, I know you covered it right there, but they can reach out to you or Tally or anybody at CTAT. And is there a form they fill out, or is that something we'll send out later, or is that something that you
Well,
guys as the nominating committee have?
sure. Typically what happens is as we get names and we get ready to roll out that process, staff will send them the questionnaire and what they'll ask them to fill out and then bring that to the committee and the committee will review that. So having your CV or your one-page resume, a headshot so we know who you are, and then being able to answer a couple of questions about why you want to get involved.
That is fantastic, and I can already see the wheels turning on people thinking about their a great teacher they have.
Awesome. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you so much. Callie Joe, did you want to add anything to that board plea?
Oh, no, she's Vanna this today on this one. So we just needed a plea of what we want those really good people to take up the charge. And so you have them, you have the people that want to invest in CTE and CTAT. And so we hear it a lot of people just wanting to give more. And so, yeah, it's hard to lose the good ones like Susie retiring. I mean, I'm a little jealous. It'll be a while though. So we are thankful for all you do though.
You know,
thanks.
Callie Joe, Sherry was given that board member kind of update from the nominating committee, and it reminded me that last week when we had the CTE plus finance workshop, the Round Rock crew, Peggy and Sherry and their PEMS person and their finance, I'm telling you, they were just incredible at that training. If you were able to do there, they did a fantastic job. And all of the districts that we have used have just been incredible. I see Katie down there. They did a workshop. Arlington did a workshop. And I know that you guys don't necessarily think so, but we talk about this with the TASBO folks all along. It's that district component when they come in there and give the best practice and how they take what is talked about at the beginning of the conference and then come in and tell how they use that information and how it's actually implemented. That's the most meaningful part of those conferences. So thank you, Sherry, to you and Peggy and the rest of the Round Rock folks. Y'all were incredible.
Hey, Mark, speaking of that, aren't you going to be in the Woodlands on October 1st?
October 1st, we are going to be in the Woodlands. We're going to be new teacher training and CTE campus coach. And I guess I'll take this opportunity to do a plug for that since we're talking about, we're doing the regional outreach trainings, and we do believe those are important for a ton of reasons. The benefits that you all get at your service center, CTAT will never replace what happens at the service center. Those relationships between the service centers and the districts are just too intimate. And but these regional outreaches do give us a chance to provide some meaningful training, we think. But in addition to that, we think that hopefully we're building a coalition or an army or however you want to look at it, of people that are CTE aware. And if you think about your new teachers or maybe a teacher without a lot of experience that's on your campus, they're not going to pick up the phone and call CTAT. It's not likely that they're going to call a service center. And unfortunately, they're not going to pick up the phone and call the CTE office in the district. They're probably going to walk down the hall and talk to a teacher on their campus. And so we think it's critical that we get a campus CTE coach trained and be available as a resource for those teachers because, the teachers are entering the field with less and less training and they're exiting with more and more frequency. And so anything that we can do to help make these teachers a little bit more successful, we think it's important. And the side benefit of that is that we get CTAT trained staff all over the state and one on every campus in Texas is our goal. So thanks for bringing that up, Callie Joe. And yes, that we will be in the Woodlands to kick that off in October.
Yes, Conroe ISD will be hosting an event. We're gonna host a little fun event prior.
Y'all probably going to be doing a lot more than hosting the event by the time we get through making requests of you. Okay, any other comments? Lots of stuff happening this spring. Don't be shy now. Jason, did you get a haircut? That looks pretty good there.
Needed to lose a little bit of weight, so I figured the hair would be the first place to start.
I think you did that pretty good. Got that taken care of. Lisa, anything interesting happened in Region 11 yesterday?
What was yesterday?
Y'all's meeting
Oh,
with
TASA. Oh yeah. So, that was the meeting you were referring to. I thought you meant our leader meeting. That was last week. So yeah, yesterday was just the TASA meeting. We presented. We get asked about once a year to speak to the superintendents and kind of give them updates and let them know that they've got wonderful staff that are in the weeds and know most of what we were already sharing with them or all of what we were already sharing with them. And then it went well.
Lisa. What kind of feedback do you get from your superintendents? What's their general impression of CTE nowadays?
Well, in November, TASB came and presented at TASA, and then they were going over the doom and gloom of you're not going to have any money in the year to come, and there was kind of that fear, and the shining light that TASB threw out to them was, but remember, CTE is weighted funding, and so that has been kind of a lot of our ongoing questions over the months since then, is not only from superintendents, but from our leaders who are in budget meetings, because there's a lot of places where it's kind of the Hunger Games of fighting to see which staff do you get to keep in your districts with all the ESSER funds and things going away. And so a lot of finance questions at this point is kind of where things are landing.
Well, that's a good, it's better to be the shining light than the dim bulb. I've been on both ends of that, I think. But I will take an opportunity here to do a shout out to our pre-conference training that we do for level 2. If you haven't been to that yet, that the ESC 7 folks do for us at the winter and the summer, that's an excellent opportunity because they do a great job of showing how you can take and your existing course offerings and turn that into make a few changes and generate a lot of weighted funding. So that might be a good time to come to the level 2 training if you haven't been yet. Also, this year, if you've looked on the agenda, we're doing a pre-conference for AI. AI is just incredible. I know I'm kind of late to the party here. Everybody, where have you been, Mark? But anyway, as we were doing the curriculum development, we had a task force for the new teacher training. And of course, I always do a preliminary one. And the task force came in there and said, "You jughead, where's AI?" And I said, "Well, I've seen that movie. It had that little boy in it." But they said, "No, dummy." And they started showing me all of these websites and the great ways that teachers can utilize and save so much time through AI. And I think the one that we taught specifically at new teacher training had to do with the magicschools.com and showing teachers how to develop lesson plans. But there's tons of websites out there. And this year at the level 3 training at the conference is going to be through AI. So if you have that opportunity, make sure you sign up for it. I think it's going to be great. And if Robinson's here, she can speak to who's doing that, but it's the person from TCEA, and they're supposed to be one of the industry leaders in the nation. Anyone? There's Miss Chandler right there. Miss Chandler, we were just talking about your Region 7 training for the pre-con.
Yeah, thank you so much for giving us a shout out. We really appreciate that. I've got Kimberly here in the room. We are finishing up. Well, we had a session today, but we're just kind of still in the room talking and planning for tomorrow, we're doing another session for CLNA for our peeps up here in Region 7 that missed the first one. So thank you. We're already excited. We were talking about CTAT earlier and making sure that we're ready for summer and we're bringing all of our stuff and our swag. We promoted you guys at our stakeholders meeting today. So just trying to get the word out about how important it is to be a member of CTAT.
Fantastic. Thank you guys so much. And yeah, if you haven't got a room yet, keep checking. Leslie stays on top of that. Lindsay was telling the area presidents a little bit ago in their briefing that Leslie stays on top of the hotel. So let us know if the hotels are closed, but there's the Omni, which is right there across from the convention center, the Hilton, and there's a whole host of hotels right there closed, but get in there and get you a reservation because they're closing down quick. What other interesting Robin, did you have something to add to the level 3 or to the hotel stuff? Robin's at AI training today in San Antonio, as a matter of fact.
Okay, so I hope I don't crash. I'll just keep it brief. I was just at Region 20. I was very curious about AI training that's happening for public educators. And the trainers did a phenomenal job of just putting AI into context for public education. And really, guys, we're just at the tip of the iceberg. So many of you probably know more than we do at this point, but there's so much that can help teachers be efficient and effective with their students. I mean, even down to differentiated instruction over certain TEKs and creating lesson plans and activities and brief quizzes. There's just so much, and we're excited to bring that body of knowledge to a workshop this summer. And we're always interested in your feedback. After that session, tell us what the next thing about AI you think we ought to focus on. But we're excited to bring it.
Yeah, and I think I can speak for Robin from saying we'll do as much of that training as there's a demand for. So let us know and give us feedback and tell us what you need, because it's just going to keep changing and improving and modifying. And I don't let it, but it'll even take notes for us right here in the Zoom. I ask it not to. It probably is anyway, David, whether you want it to or not. It's probably doing it anyway. But anyway, it's just an incredible tool, and it's going to get better and better as years progress. Technology improves. JJ, we're probably just a couple of months away from someone writing an innovative course to incorporate AI into career awareness, and then it'll be a regional program of study, and they'll attach it to a drone and we'll have a certification for it.
Yeah, and then, we'll have to watch out for the Terminators.
For the what?
The Terminators.
Oh,
it's
you
an 80s movies reference.
Like Schwarzenegger. Yeah, I missed that one too.
Yeah.
That's a little too recent for me. Once you get past Brian's song, I stopped watching movies too.
Okay. Skynet will be watching.
Well, it's probably already got me doomed. Yeah, incredible. Anyone else have anything great to share, or anything interesting that's happening in your district or your area? Kathy, y'all have a meeting coming up next week?
Yes, sir, we do. Our Area 3 will be meeting at Pine Tree High School on Wednesday, April the 10th. Jacob is leading that out. He's got some presentations ready for us. And then the girls at Region 7, Carrie and Kimberly, will come in and give us some updates. And then we'll have a business meeting after that. So we're looking forward to it.
Jacob Plus was a great find for Pine Tree.
They were, yes.
But yeah, they almost did as good as Hayes did. See, Rick, I was being nice there. All right.
You feeling okay?
No, not really. As soon as we hang up here, I'm going to switch over and see if Jordan is 5 over yet in the Valero Open.
Hold, please.
Anyone else have any good news? Katie, what about out there in Area 2?
We had our scholarship auction in February and raised over $4,000 for CTE scholarships, which we'll be awarding those at the end of April at our awards banquet. So that'll be in Birdville on the 27th, I think, 25th. So we'll have our awards banquet then and our scholarship recognition that day as well. So it's fast and furious wrapping up the year.
And Katie, you had something at your area that was pretty unique. Candy Slocum put together an alumni group, and so there were several folks there that they really hadn't been around in 5 or 6. What would you say, about a dozen North Texas alumni folks showed up? That's about right, isn't it?
Yes, yes. And they came and they purchased things from our scholarship auction. It was great, and great networking with those legends, some of the legends we've had that were part of CTAT and CTAT and all the great opportunities that they've paved the way for us. So it was a good opportunity.
It was really neat seeing those folks, because those of you guys that are young or you've been in here, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. I know how you view some of the folks that have been in here 10, 15, 20 years, because that group that Katie's talking about, that's the group that I always looked up to when I was a young administrator. I know that's hard to believe, but I was at one time. And anyway, I considered them heroes and legends in the CTE community, and they really were at the time. They really had a lot of innovative stuff, and a lot of those folks were on the board when Robin became executive director of CTAT. And it was just great seeing those guys. And so I guess, Katie, the moral of the story is if you get a chance to start an alumni group in your area, it's worth doing. Anyone else? Well, I don't want to keep you on here any more than we have to, but if you have something for the whole group, then we're going to say going once, going twice. 3 times. Well, I'm going to stop the recording. Again, I can't say it enough, but thank you guys so much for taking this 45 minutes to an hour out of your day and being on here and being willing to help each other and be a resource for other CTE professionals in the state. We'll see you guys next first Thursday in May.